let's jump over to, let's see here, page 55. All right, page 55, we're talking about the adjustments on the circuit board. Have many of you guys in here ever gone in here and adjusted a circuit board before for the hydraulics, for the spreader and stuff? I see some shaking heads, I see some hands. Who has not? Who has never adjusted one of these circuit boards? Okay, that's actually a good thing. You guys that haven't adjusted one is actually a good thing. That tells us that we're doing a fairly decent job by dialing this thing in before you ever get your truck. And that's what we're trying to do. We're putting this truck on a test stand. When we get finished with it and run it through final inspection, it's not really a dyno test, but I would call it a hydraulic dyno test. We're testing the hydraulics on it to make sure everything's flowing and working and all this kind of stuff like it's supposed to. So for you guys that raised your hand that you had not been in here and done this before, that's actually a good thing. It lets us know that we're doing a reasonably good job. Most of the time when you need to do this, you've just changed the circuit board. That's when you usually have to go in there and redial and dial that thing in. And honestly, rather than going through all that in detail, because like I said, this is 5 years old and older, we have a written description of how to do this over on page 54. So let's don't spend a whole lot of time there other than knowing that there's written descriptions there. And the only secret that I'll tell you with that is a little pocket screwdriver is what you need to turn these dial pots. And remember that the dial pot is a 270-degree turn. It doesn't turn one complete revolution. It's a little bit over 3/4 maybe, but it's 270 degrees from off to wide open. Some dial pots you got 10 turns all the way in and all the way out. This one is about 3/4 of a turn from 0 to wide open. Okay. And on this part, one of the last things on this book that I would go over is the troubleshooting flow chart. Page 59 and 60, that's the last 2 pages there. Page 59 is an electrical troubleshooting flow chart. So if I made any kind of a note there, I would just say this would be an electrical flow chart, troubleshooting flow chart. So if you got problems with a truck, just come here and start answering those questions. You'll slowly get down to where you need to be at, or you'll need to get to a point, hey, I need to call somebody. And don't think that that bothers us, because it doesn't. You know, we realize you guys are working on a lot of different things. You're working on a backhoe, you're working on a chainsaw, you're working on a dump truck, you're working on an excavator, you're working on a lot of different things. And it's hard to be an expert at all of it. I only do one thing. This is all I do. And I've done this for 40 years. I'm not saying I know everything, because I sure don't. Absolutely don't. I learn something new every day. But, you know, this is all I do. And the key to it is, if you get to a stumbling point that you're not quite sure what to do, pick up the phone, call somebody. It would upset me a whole lot more for you not to call me knowing you did than for you to call me and bug me, or what you think you bug me, because you really don't. You know, pick up the phone and call. But this will help you a whole lot get to that point about, okay, what do I need to do? Step by step on the electrical, which is on page 59, and then on the hydraulic, which is on page 60. Will kind of flow you down through where you need to be at to determine and help troubleshoot that problem. Or if you get to that stumbling point, just pick up the phone and call.